Okay, it didn't give me a warning, but maybe it's because I'm the host. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about our Solle ClearSI. The SI stands for sinus and immune. And most of us really kind of think about using this product mostly for like allergies, sinuses, but this really has more uses than that. It's a pretty amazing product. It's part of our ClearSI category, which should tell you right away what it's going to do. It's going to deal with bacteria, viruses, anything that's stagnant in the body, and help us clear everything and keep it moving. So why do allergies get worse in the autumn? So for some people, it also gets worse in the spring because things are blooming, but sometimes it seems kind of weird, like why do things get worse in the fall? So when it comes to seasonal allergies, most people immediately think the pollen explosion in the springtime, but an itchy throat, teary red eyes, sniffles, and sneezing aren't regulated to just April and May alone. When the leaves start to fall and the air gets cooler, a host of allergens can also cause the same symptoms. Okay, and then once we kind of get into the winter months, right, then sometimes we start to see this cold and flu, right? So this is not just like a seasonal, like just use it in the spring product. This is really something that you can use year round. Let me see. So in the fall, we have things like ragweed. So ragweed is a weed. It's really ugly. I don't know if it grows a lot around you, but it grows a lot around me. And it's a plant that can produce, one plant can produce up to 1 billion grains of pollen per season. So it's a yellow flowering weed that starts to bloom in August, but causes allergic symptoms well into the fall until the first freeze kills the plant. In the fall, we also start to see mildew and mold. These fungi thrive both outdoors and indoors, and they grow from all the produce spores like pollen that are spread by the wind and the indoor air. So mold and mildew tend to grow year round, but in the fall, they start to come upon damp leaves and compost piles, and they really thrive in those damp areas. And they also thrive indoors, like in basements, bathrooms, kitchen. So unlike pollen, mold and mildew aren't killed by the first frost, but they tend to go dormant, like a dormant phase for months, and then come back to life, right? So when things start to warm up and that sort of thing. One other thing that we actually deal with year round is dust mites, and they are microscopic arthropods that feed primarily on the flakes of human skin that are shed naturally around the home. They are common year round, and they thrive in temperatures ranging from the high 60s to the mid 70s, and dust mites usually die in extreme temperatures or if the humidity drops below 70%. So that is the one thing that when I was like dealing with a lot of allergy issues, my allergist and immunologist is like, where do you spend the most time in your house? And you need to dust and vacuum every day, which seemed like a little over the top, but it really did start to help with some of my allergies and stuff. The next one is pet dander and fur. I have a cat. I know a lot of you on this call have pets, dogs, cats, that sort of thing. But pet dander is comprised of the dead skin that is shed by animals in the home. And up to 40% of people with seasonal allergies also have pet allergies. And pet allergies are triggered by an extra sensitive immune system reacting to the dander, the fur, saliva, or urine from pets. So over the summer, our pets have done a lot of shedding to keep cool. And now that cooler weather is when it starts to come back in the fall, they start to put on that winter coat. I don't know, my cat is shedding still like crazy. Like I can't even pet the thing without it. It's like clumps of hair, right? So lots of shedding going on. And what's nice is like, you don't have to get rid of your pets, right? That's not the solution. We can have another solution for you. So a cold is a viral infection of the upper respiratory tract that causes sore throat and runny nose and sometimes other issues. So there are many different viruses that make up a cold. The most common one is called the rhinovirus. And this agent thrives in the distinctive temperature of the human nose, and several different methods of transmission and risk factors increase the chance of a person coming into a common cold. So we mostly think of people getting a cold, you know, like in the winter, but you can get one year round. I've heard lots of people this summer having summer colds. Right? So most people, what do? They usually stock up on over-the-counter drugs to reduce congestion and pain. They may take antihistamines to block congestion, sneezing, runny nose. They may take some decongestants to help shrink the blood vessels or dry up mucus. But it's really kind of based on fixing the symptoms that they already have, right? And those can have some problematic outcomes. Let me see if that's another, yeah, this looks like. So the problem with that is that, let me see if there's a different side. Yeah. Histamine are not the major cause of a runny nose. Okay, so having histamine is a major issue when it comes to allergies, but not when it comes to cold and flu. Antihistamines will make you sleepy. So if you've ever had to take those, you know, on a regular, like, man, I remember one time having to take Benadryl, having an allergic reaction. I passed out the rest of the day. And decongestants could be used for, they're not supposed to be used for more than 3 days and can cause even more congestion, especially if you're using certain sprays up your nose. So decongestants can overstimulate your heart, your blood pressure, etc. And really they just seem to be like a Band-Aid symptoms that kind of suppress those symptoms instead of actually taking care of them. And most cold medicines don't address the actual cause, which is the rhinovirus. Most medicines work against the body's natural defense system. So let's talk a little bit about the respiratory system a little bit. So its functions are to move air in and out of the lungs. It removes the carbon dioxide from the body, and it delivers oxygen to the blood, and it helps us maintain homeostasis through our breath. So what happens is that there's these little cilia and mucus in our respiratory that can trap particles, okay? And so when we start to show sinus symptoms like mucus, well, sinus supplements, like, I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, it can kind of, it doesn't necessarily get the mucus going and doing its job. So basically, as you can see, as things start to come in, you have this yellow as kind of represents the mucus that comes into the body, okay? So what we want it to do is we want it to trap those particles, the dust, the pollen, the dander, those kind of things. So if we are using something that's kind of clearing out the mucus, right? Well, we may not have such a runny nose, but we have nothing to trap this, right? Like for me, I get a lot of bloody noses. It dries me out. And then seeing things get worse because now we're just like inhaling and now they're going all the way down into the lungs, if that makes sense. So we want this mucus. This mucus is actually a good sign. So yes, it might be annoying. And we'll talk a little bit about like too much mucus versus like the right amount of mucus, but it's going to actually help you do what it needs to do. Okay. This mucus actually helps you. It's kind of like garbage removal. So it protects the membranes and the barriers of your nose, your sinus cavity, that sort of thing. And it's like it traps all the crap. That's why we blow our nose, get it out. But it's a gathering place. So it's actually a good thing. Is this one phlegm? Oh, I already talked about that. So when we're using a lot of like over-the-counter stuff, it's interfering with that mucus. So what we want to do is we want to use things like we want to humidify the air to keep the nose moist, that sort of thing, instead of, you know, trying to remove it. Because part of like what we're doing when we're doing this coughing and sneezing, we're getting that junk out, right? It's getting it out. So it might be annoying, but it's doing its job to what it's supposed to do. Okay, so, all right, so I guess I had a lot more slides that I was not paying attention to. So what we want is like, we have this fine balance, just like a balance in anything else, right? So we don't want too little mucus. We don't want too much mucus. So Solle ClearSI, well, let me see what I have on this next slide. I should have looked. Okay. So Solle ClearSI is an amazing product to target phlegm in the body. Okay, so remember, a lot of things that we're exposed to in life that we eat or that we just come into contact with can cause phlegm. And this can be toxins in our environment, things that we're allergic to, foods, etc. So when there's an irritation in the body protects itself by producing more phlegm or mucus. So we battle phlegm a lot that causes inflammation, and it's kind of a precursor to illness. So if we take something that prevents us from balancing, or we want to lower or get rid of that phlegm or that mucus, we're kind of taking away the body's ability to fight off what it needs to fight off. So this is just my opinion. I don't think there's any science behind it. So people that are just like, okay, I'm just going to take, you know, an antihistamine year round to help with blah, 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 and they keep having issue after issue after issue. Well, we're not fixing the underlying cause of the issue. We're just covering it up, and we're removing the mucus that helps us do that. And so it just continues to have problems. Okay, that's just my opinion, not a medical doctor, but that's what I think. So just like you can have too little phlegm, you can have too much phlegm. And when we have too much phlegm, that's why we end up with sinusitis, cold viruses, illness, that sort of thing. So we want to have this balance of the right amount of phlegm. Okay, that excess mucus can be caused from okay, that has to do with something else. Okay. So our Solle ClearSI helps us maintain a healthy mucous membranes to fight infection, protect the system, and soothe inflammation. It has a Solle Clear blend that promotes healthy mucous membranes. The wasabi and horseradish gets mucus and blood flowing up and out of our airways without drying out our airways. And horseradish alone versus pharmaceutical for colds usually end up with a 40% faster recovery. Okay, so so there's 3 main ingredients in here, which is the suma root, which is a 10-to-1 extract, the horseradish root, and the wasabi root. So we'll talk about what each of those are. All right, so the suma root, para toda means for all things, that's Portuguese. This is another name, suma root, the other name for it is Brazilian ginseng. And they call it the para toda for all things. It helps combat fatigue, it prevents cold and flu. This is the adaptogen in the herb. It's used as an adaptogen to help the body adapt to stress by improving the immune system. Suma is also commonly referred to the Brazilian ginseng. It's a species of plant in the Amaranthaceae family. The root of the suma plant is commonly used to make medicine. Suma has historically been used in the Amazon rainforest region by indigenous tribes to treat a variety of conditions, including a tonic for energy, to boost sexuality, treat anxiety and ulcers, and more. Suma root has traditionally been used for a wide range of conditions. I want to make sure I don't have another slide for that. It can help increase hormone levels such as estrogen, balance blood sugar levels, improve the memory, boosting the immune system, stimulating blood circulation, improving sports medicine. Conditions commonly treated with suma are chronic fatigue, digestive disorders, bronchitis, skin and wound treatment, anemia, hormonal disorders such as menopausal symptoms, diabetes, and hypertension, which is high blood pressure. Suma root is a 10-to-1 extract. because it's a really powerful adaptogen designed to help strengthen the body and mind against stress. It's a powerful immune system booster, and Suma is also used effectively to help increase physical strength, energy, and stamina, as well as promote hormone balancing and strengthen the adrenal glands. So it's more than just to take this when you have a cold, flu, or allergies type of thing. So let's talk about the benefits of horseradish root. Okay, so remember we talked about phlegm and how our body experiences irritation. It responds by producing phlegm. And horseradish will actually increase the liver's ability to detoxify. The liver is the most important organ for detoxification. And now we have something that can actually help it at that level. Horseradish root promotes many health benefits, mainly attributing to its high nutrients and mineral content. Traditionally, it's been used to clear issues with sinuses, lungs, cough, and asthma. It also helps and protects intestinal tract to help support digestive system and the body's ability to manage inflammation. I can always bring everything back to digestive system, pretty much always. And some people are like, but I have allergies. And I'm like, well, that's because you're digestive, you got to work on your digestive system. And they're like, no, that's not related, totally related. I could bring pretty much everything back to the gut. So horseradish is a white root vegetable that is closely related to mustard and wasabi. It has a pungent taste and odor and tends to have a spicy kick. It may have anti-cancer effects. It actually suppresses the growth of cancerous tumors. You may have heard of that broccoli does that, which is true, but horseradish does it 10 times more. The University of Illinois did a study where they identified that one of the compounds in horseradish increases human resistance to cancer. It has antibacterial properties. It has been really useful for urinary tract infections. Okay, so we can use Solflex PI for urinary tract infections, you guys. So when we get a UTI, we have a lot of water retention, and there's something in the horseradish that actually stimulates the body to eliminate urine. So now the bacteria doesn't have to sit there and it can actually be eliminated. And will help move things around in the kidneys to work better. So now think of all the things that will result when the kidneys don't work well, right? Rheumatoid issues, autoimmune issues, arthritis, all those things when your kidneys aren't working right. And that uric acid stays in the joints and causes pain. So now this horseradish can come in and help flush that out. It also may have respiratory health benefits. Consuming horseradish has been known to cause a burning sensation in your sinuses and nose, and for that reason, it's often used to relieve colds and breathing issues. In a study of over 1,500 people, they found that a supplement containing 80 milligrams of dried horseradish was just as effective as traditional antibiotic in treating acute sinus infections and bronchitis. Okay, so I've learned a lot about wasabi, you guys. So wasabi root is not just for sushi, okay? In fact, unless you're at a really high-end sushi place and paying a lot of money, it's probably not wasabi, but food-colored horseradish, okay? Wasabi root is not only have a really powerful taste, but it also has a lot of effects on our overall health. It's a very potent plant that contains a wealth of antioxidants to help boost the immune system, support respiratory system, and can aid in removing harmful toxins from the body. So wasabi, or Japanese horseradish, is a cruciferous vegetable that grows naturally along the stream beds and mountains, rivers, and valleys in Japan. Okay, so it's actually can be very expensive. So that's why I say, I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that when you go to these places, you're not even getting real wasabi because it's too expensive. So especially if you're picking up sushi in the grocery store or Tokyo Joe's where it's really cheap, probably not real wasabi, okay? But it has some amazing health benefits. It has antibacterial effects. Naturally occurring compounds in wasabi called ITCs may have antibacterial properties that ward against certain airborne illnesses such as H. pylori virus. It has anti-inflammatory properties, Okay, we know that inflammation is your immune system's response to infections, injuries, and toxins, such as pollution in the air or cigarette smoke, in an attempt to protect and heal your body. So when inflammation becomes uncontrolled and chronic, it can contribute to several inflammatory conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Wasabi might also help promote fat loss because it's been shown to prevent the formation and growth of fat cells, may have anti-cancer properties. It has bone health properties. A compound in wasabi called p-hydrocinematic acid, or HCA, has been suggested to increase bone formation and decrease bone breakdown in animal studies. Research has speculated whether HCA could help treat osteoporosis, a disease that causes your bones to become weak and brittle, and also promotes brain health. Studies in mice have demonstrated that they increase the activation of antioxidants in the brain that reduce inflammation. So this blend also has a clarifying formula that also includes bilberry, eyebright, fennel, mullein, fenugreek, butcher's broom, celery, and quercetin. So I may just kind of quickly go through these because of time, but I can't remember if all of these are in here, but basically the butcher's broom is an anti-inflammatory. It's also used for arthritis. It can help clear mucus, improves breathing, increases blood flow to the extremities like your feet and legs and hands and brain. It can actually help with varicose veins because it can tighten the blood vessels and also helps with hemorrhoids. So there's lots of things there. Eyebright is an herb with a small white flower that features purple streaks and a splash of yellow in the center. It's been used in herbal medicine in Europe for centuries because it's anti-inflammatory, vasoconstrictive, it helps clear mucus, improves breathing, has antihistamine properties, supports heart health, and may relieve eye irritation. Fennel is a green and white plant with feathery leaves and yellow flowers, and its seeds offer a wider range of health benefits that may provide antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, and antibacterial effects. It can help calm coughs, reduce inflammation. It promotes healthy circulation and decreases blood pressure, prevents clotting, and is an antioxidant. It's also very nutritious. It's full of fiber, vitamin C, calcium, iron, magnesium, potassium, and manganese. The mullein is a plant that's been around for thousands of years. The plant is found in many parts of the world, including the United States, and has over 200 species. But the mullein oil is extracted from the flower or the leaves of the plant, and this oil has been used for earaches, eczema, and some other skin conditions. One study showed some benefits for ear pain in a trial of 1,700 children between the ages of 5 and 18 years old, and found that it could be helpful for ear infections. Researchers also found that herbal drops reduce pain. They also pointed out that they cost less than antibiotics and didn't have the side effects. Also helps with cough, congestion, bronchitis, asthma, constipation, pain, inflammation, migraines, sleep, and gout. So especially if you're having like migraines that are coming because of sinus pressure, that sort of thing. Fenugreek increases circulation with the help of, which can help with constipation, and it can lower blood pressure, lowers blood sugar, boosts the growth hormone acting as the hypothalamus or the pituitary, helps with allergies and improves libido. Celery is an antispasmodic that helps with respiration. It contains luteolin, which helps prevent congestive decline. which is full of antioxidants, and it's an anti-inflammatory. It improves blood flow, reduces stress hormones, and improves libido. Bilberry is another thing that helps with varicose veins. It's actually a really small blueberries that are native to North America, or not North America, Northern Europe. They're also referred to as European blueberries. They're very similar in appearance to a North American blueberry. They help with eye health. They can neutralize E. coli and soothe digestion. And quercetin, which we talk about quite a bit more, like when we'll talk about Excel, it's a flavonoid found in certain fruits. Pineapple is one of them. That's what gives like the Excel, that pineapple taste actually. But it can help prevent allergies, reduce excess congestion, lower blood pressure, and prevents oxidation of LDLs. So it's found in fruits, vegetables, and grains. Okay, so our 5 key benefits of Solle ClearSI is it helps strengthen the immune system, it's beneficial for when you're struggling with sinus and respiratory issues. It has the adaptogens, which helps strengthen the body against stress. Contains the Solle Clear Property Blend, which has proven herbs to help clarify the mind, the eyes, the blood, the circulation, and the respiratory system, and can even help balance your hormones. I don't even think about using this for hormone balancing, actually. So as usual, like this is one thing that we, that we frequently talk about using outside the capsule. Breaking the capsule open, dumping it into a hot tea, drinking it like that when you don't feel good. Even when I was getting hives really, really bad, I broke it open into the AC cream, mixed it together, and then put it on my skin to help with hives. I've even put it in the AC cream and put it on my chest, throat, that sort of thing to kind of open things up when I'm not feeling well. So as usual, we have a few minutes left. I love it when I hear from you guys, either some testimonials or some unique ways that you use Solle ClearSI.
Tiffany, you just shared about opening the capsule up and mixing it with AC cream.
Yeah.
I've done that with both girls and Oakland several times, like when she's got a cough or runny nose, and I'll just rub it on her chest, and usually within a couple days, like the runny nose is gone and the cough is gone. So it's just amazing how they have so many different ways to use them and benefits and stuff.
And that's a great way to use it with little kids because it is spicy, right? Like you put it in the drink, it is a little spicy. So my kids probably aren't going to drink it. Well, one of them might because they actually like horseradish and wasabi. But you can also do the bottoms of their feet because we pull so much stuff from the bottom of our feet. That would be really helpful too. But yeah, that's a great way, especially to use it with kiddos.
My grandson just drinks it. I open the capsule up and put it in about 1 ounce to 2 ounces of water and shake it up, and he drinks it. He just downs it. Every morning he gets his clear.
I put it in smoothie. I hide everything in smoothies, you guys. For my kids, I'm like, time for your daily smoothie. Here you go.
I was gonna say I've opened one up and put, I don't know, I call it the Corinne cocktail with cinnamate and Renew, and open up a capsule. Like when I feel, I've actually been drinking it once a day, like just with that like sore throat feeling. And it's crazy to me because it like has like a coating or something that just like soothes your throat. I don't know what it is or anything else, but it works.
Because it helps produce more phlegm and mucus, which helps with.
Is that what it's doing? I mean, I know like there is like a something that happens, and it just makes you feel better.
So I started Clear 2 years ago, and 3 in the morning and 3 at night, and I have not had to use my inhalers or nebulizers since for my asthma. So that's been huge help for me.
Hi, Oakland. Hi, big girl.
Ashley, we're drinking the Corinne cocktail right now. And she walked in, she goes, yum, yum. So she
Aw.
knows what's good.